Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. I had to end the last video because somebody's setting off fireworks behind us. And honestly, we don't mind, but we have some dogs we take care of that are very, very sensitive to that stuff. So anyway, had to go investigate. It wasn't the people right behind us. So anyways, back with the carburetor. I basically had taken it apart again this last video just to kind of get an idea. I've since cleaned everything up. Got the carburetor main body here, and it's looking pretty good. Got all the air passages blown out, and boy, they just keep going with those fireworks. Kind of irritates me, to be honest. But anyhow, and here's the float bowl, which a lot of that corrosion had begun to really rust inside here, and there's still, I'm literally having to scratch it off. So that's kind of what I'm doing, just to make sure that it doesn't work its way loose again, even though that's actually going to be something we're going to watch for. So what I'm doing is just, I don't really need to put this on yet, but I'm just kind of getting everything cleaned up. This could use another round of that. So I didn't use the carburetor soak stuff because it was so expensive, but I did use a mixture of PB Blaster, some WD-40, and I'm just trying to get the stuff that's actually still crusted on there, because it was pretty bad. Alright, let me get this cleaned up again here. Let me cross out the camera here, guys, sorry. Alright, keep that going. Basically just don't want there need to be any real chunks that could come up. Most of it's a stain, like a corrosion stain, but some of the stuff is just still there, kind of hanging out. So let me, and I don't have a nice little Dremel with a little teeny wire wheel on it, or else that's what I would be using. So, alright. Anything else that's still on there that it's earned its way to stay there. Let me just make sure this isn't a chunk. Alright. Yeah, it's like we left a weird stain on everything. So that's what I'm scratching away at down there. And then as you can see, it just kind of left a kind of corrosion type of stain on there. So anyways, so we're gonna go back together. So we just got basically a host of parts here. This is gonna go on the bottom of the fuel bowl, and in fact I still didn't, did I? I guess I still didn't even get that gasket. I found out that I have some more parts on the way. Yes, and I think I did order that. Let me see. Sorry guys, I'm hunting around for parts again. So an 11 washer. No. Well, anyways, this piece here, I basically, this is the kind of the drain, not drain, but it's the main jet basically, right? I think. Forgive me if I'm using the wrong terminology. Anyways, there's a gasket right there that I basically had to destroy to get everything clean, and you can still see that corrosion. So I'm going to hit that spot up again. I basically just got everything dried off so I can actually see. Let's see here. Alright. Yeah, it's the tail end of the 4th of July. Happy 4th of July to everybody. Definitely thankful that I get to live in this awesome country that has its issues, that's for sure, but I think we all appreciate the relative freedom we have compared to the rest of the world. Alright guys, so next up I'm going to put the little air idle screw thing back in. I'm going to shine it up just a teeny bit with your old wire brush. I'm going to get a little bit of that corrosion off of there. Very, very lightly. Alright. So this is kind of the fun part, just kind of going back together with it, and then apparently I have two parts that are still coming. Another gasket for the fuel cock, which I don't know if I actually need that, and the mesh fuel filter for the previous episode we did on the here, sorry guys. That's terrible when I do that. Okay. So as what I'm doing here is I'm putting the little air bleed screw in. And remembering what I did last time, I'm gonna dial it down till it's seated and then come straight up about where it was before. So, and I may have to adjust this, who knows. I'm hoping it runs when I start it. Okay, now what we can do, this is like the main jet thing right here with the needle jet. It actually fell out. I wasn't aware that it came out. Alright. Okay. So, a lot of times with carburetors, you're just dealing with stuff clogging up the passages, you know? So this one is going to come up through the bottom here and then up through the top. So I'm going to just drop it in there and see if I can get her to head home here. There we go. Did I get it? Nope. Alright, there it is. So it basically pushes in. I've got any light here. Pushes in to the bottom there, as shown, and then comes up through the, pushes in through the top, comes up through the bottom here, and this little notch, there's a little drift pin there, and as you can see, that's where it stops. And on top of that, we have our, let me take these gloves off and look at these things. Forgive me for the terminology, guys. There's so many different things going on with this carburetor. This would be like the pilot needle jet seat. Anyway, the O-ring I'm about to change on this thing is a very important O-ring that was actually twisted. So that's partly an issue that we're fixing. Get our our O-ring here without losing it. Get some of our famous silicone. Oh man. And let's make sure our, nope. I really like to get an automatic zoom. Do they have those? Alright. I'm gonna very carefully put this over that. The thing that I just pushed in has a little washer here that just dumps right on there, like so. And this is going to screw right onto the top. And it's kind of a half. I probably should have actually installed it before I tried to tighten it. Look at that. I have these little small wrenches, and I might even have the right size. This is so cool. There we go. Let's try this one. Oh, that is so gangster. it's just a 3/4. All right, so just tightening it down here. Didn't take much. Okay. Obviously, it's better to under tighten. Well, anyway, just get it nice and snug. This is brass stuff, so it doesn't need to be super tight. Just good and tight. All right. Now, we're going to build the float needles in needle seat operation here. Oh boy. 10 minutes in here. It's finally cooling down out there, ladies and gentlemen. It's been hot around here. There's no AC really. Not a lot of people have AC, so excuse me, I hate to do this on camera. I'm gonna blow my nose. Alright. That wasn't so bad. Except now it's, I do the post nose blow maintenance, you know. Alright. Ooh, made my ears pop. Good Lord. A little allergy stuff going on up here. Cottonwood things flying around. Looked like it was snowing the other day. Alright. Now, I actually have a new gasket. One though. For this one right here. But this one looks good. I only have one of them. That one's there, so I'm going to leave it on there. So what we're going to do is we're going to build kind of the base plate here. I'm going to straighten this out just a tad bit here. And make sure we've got good and I'm so sorry. I should like zoom in or something, I guess, but so I'm basically putting a gasket over on the bottom, very bottom. This is can only go on one way, so it's just like that. And then we're gonna take this, which that gasket needs to be on there, and we are going to install, if I can figure out what the problem is here. There we go. What the problem is. Alright, grab my little 10 millimil. I think it's fighting the gasket here. This should just be going right in here, and no need to force anything when you're working on a carburetor. I actually broke. I didn't need it because I had an Edelbrock that I was putting on the plow truck. And alright, that's good there. And I couldn't get the fuel inlet line off of the old carburetor, which I was going to save and actually rebuild. But I've just got kind of dumb in the moment and decided that I'd take the air hammer to it like I would getting something else that was rounded off. Anyway, bad idea. I should have went for the vice grips because I cracked the whole inlet chamber. So the carburetor's junk now. Anyway, so you live, you learn. This O-ring's been replaced, so I'm going to put it off to the side here. We have our needle for the needle and seat. I'm going to make sure I got nothing going on inside here. And this is pretty cool. So this is where the fuel is actually coming into the carburetor, and it's depending on where the floats are, it's allowing fuel in or shutting the fuel flow off. So we're putting everything in upside down here. That goes in there. It's got a little spring to it. As you can see, you can see where it's been riding on. This just kind of sets on in there. It's a relatively simple carburetor, which most of them are, but this thing just kind of pushes on in. When we install the lower housing, there's little stops that actually go like that, so that they can't get nowhere. It can't get nowhere. All right, now what we're gonna do is, I forgot what the name of this one is. Let me see here. One pilot jet. I think this is the pilot jet, ladies and gentlemen. Booyah. Let's take a look at this little guy. This guy is really making it happen. So I believe this is one of the air inlets for that air idle screw that I put in. Possibly. Maybe not. This is just different stage of the carburetor. So depending on where the throttle is at, different parts of the carburetor are operating, right? So that's where you have all these little various alleyways and places where things are rocking and rolling. I think I'm starting to get that habit down here of adjusting the focus. Same thing, guys, just let it find the threads and just, you know, this is this very small piece, so it's not going to want to go anywhere. All right, now we're ready for our floats, and I was going to order new ones of these, but honestly they looked okay. I should probably test them in some way, shape, or form, and just to see if they float. Which I guess I could do. I could pour gas in here, but I'd have to plug that first. So they're either going to work or they're not. I'm not too worried about it. They look like it was running good. Well, I don't know how good it was running, but if your float level is off, it could cause it to start running rich. There's probably other stuff that I'm totally missing. So this is going down, right? Even though we got the carb upside down. So these actually stay on there up, because this little arm is what actually floats up and tells the fuel to stop. So this would be empty. Fuel is filling, float level comes up. It's actually pushing on it, I suppose. Like this. There it is. So, and then when it's enough fuel, it actually closes the fuel. So it has enough fuel, and as the carburetor draws that fuel in to be used, the fuel level lowers, which remember, this is upside down, so lowering is up. And it lowers as it needs more fuel, and then it just goes and goes and goes. So it's a pretty cool system, definitely a cool idea. So this is facing the right direction, so we're going to install these with the little message up and the arms towards the inside. And keep in mind, down here in this cavity is where that O-ring we put in is going to seat. So definitely want to make sure we're good there. Probably could use a better polish, but guys, I just don't have the small enough little wire brushes and stuff. I do have one plastic one, so I'm going to give it one more heave ho, if I can find it. I probably can't find it. Who knows, guys and gals? I don't know where it went. Where to go? I don't know where to go. Alright. Let's use a paintbrush. Oh, crap. The float just jumped out at me. Okay. So that's up. This is up. Okay, now, since we're going to basically grab the carburetor, come down on it, basically just make sure everything's set inside here. All we have left are screws, a gasket for that, and that. And so, let's grab our gasket for this. This is exciting, guys. I've been waiting to work on this thing. It took forever to get parts. Okay, this, whoops, this needs to come down actually first. I wonder if I should just cut that. There we go. Alright, so it just fits right in there. And let me see how I'm going to do this. So I've already got a little bit of lube on there. I'm going to put a little bit more around this O-ring, because this is what happened before. Somebody put it back together and it crushed one side. So then I think you got a rich condition starting to happen, and it just goes from there, you know. So I'm going to very carefully seat these. Of course, I'm always doing this off camera. I'm so sorry, guys. All right, so floats aren't going to go anywhere unless I put it upside down. So let's sandwich that in there. What we're going to do is we're going to find that O-ring for the jet, the needle jet, and we're going to really kind of find it and make sure it can find its way home, because that's going to be an importante. It's not wanting to really. All right, so it doesn't really want to go in. I feel it trying to. So I should have ordered more of these. It feels good. And again, guys, this is where a little bit of grease would help, because it's just, all right, teeny bit though, because of course you don't want a bunch of, ooh, good Lord, just wanted to fall out on me. All right, you gotta be careful with this stuff. There's so much stuff going on. Okay, let's try this again. That goes up in there. Okay, it's looking good, looking clear. Clear coat. I'm thinking it'll just go home once I get her done here. Seems like it's found its way. All right, thought those weren't gonna fit at first. It's an extremely tight fit. All right, let's get our handy dandy screwdriver. It's not ready, of course. And of course, this type of stuff, guys, you just want to go together by hand. And you can probably save 20 seconds by doing it with an electric after you've started it. You know, everyone knows you don't want to start the threads of anything with, you know, an air tool or anything else, because sometimes if you don't get the threads, you're gonna cross thread it and have a new project to do. All right, so now we're gonna know, of course, if this thing is put together right, because what I'm doing, guys, is I'm kind of going one side to the other, kind of crisscross pattern, making sure that the everything is seated right. You don't want to over tighten anything. It's better to find a fuel leak, tighten something up, than over tightening something. Sorry, I need to be working on this thing, don't I? Okay, so here we are. It's our carburetor. So back to this gasket situation. I've tightened that up. I mean, I probably could use a myriad of things, but let's see what we got in here first. Of course, a piece of metal ain't gonna work. But I'm gonna see what I have in the old bag of tricks here. That might work. This is an AC an air conditioning system seal, and it'll probably end up leaking at some point, but let's see here. Can't believe I didn't order that gasket. That sucks. Alright, I was really sure I was kind of, you know, thorough on that stuff. So I think we'll probably do a test. We'll probably get a little bit of fuel in here. Well, it's basically ready to go in the car, go in the vehicle here. So now I got my front thing there. Oops, shoot, that doesn't feel right. Okay, I've got this gasket for the crankcase, then this one. Of course, this is our actual mounting hardware. I'm not too sure if I really want to go with this gasket that I put on there. This right here is like a vent thing for when it overflows. Wherever that little dooley bobber is down here. And that I'll put on afterwards. Alright, this is pretty cool. I'm making my way. This, wish I would have had a new gasket for that thing, but I guarantee I could either, you know, with fuel, guys, you can't really use silicone on fuel systems. I mean, I guess, I'm trying to think, the fuel eventually likes to eat it, stuff like that. So I'm thinking of just getting a washer that fits and then putting a little bit of, I wonder if I have anything in here. Putting a little bit of silicone around it. Now I just did that O-ring, which may or may not work. So, but I think once it's on installed on the bike, and if it leaks, you know, I'll just pull it out and get something for it. I can even make a gasket with the old piece. I kind of got a general idea, and in fact, just trying to think. So it's basically, well, if I make a gasket, I'll have that back off and I'll figure that out. So this can go right there. Kind of done with these. This is awesome, guys. This thing's been apart for a while. Okay. Okay. Well, guys, I think I'm going to wrap up this video. We've successfully reassembled our carburetor. Yes, we'll just kind of wait and see, make sure everything's working properly once fuel begins to flow in it. And then, of course, last but not least, figure out if it starts and runs and continues to run, because that's the whole reason we rebuilt this. Remember, it started up, then it would just die. So, anyways, guys, hope all is well. Happy Independence Day, and have a great rest of your week whenever you watch this.